Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. My name is Cecilia Magrotto, and I'm the PO portfolio lead for the GAFSP. I hope we can get started. I see we have a full room already, so welcome everybody again. Let me quickly share my screen again. So before we start, please be aware that in this meeting, the Spanish and French interpretation is provided, and that you are welcome to interact with us through the chat. Okay, so this is the structure of today's session. We are gonna, as you know, we're gonna present the PO-led COFO proposal. So we will start with a brief introduction by our program manager, Natasha Hayward. Then after that, we will have a quick 10 minutes overview of the Global Agriculture and Food Security Program functioning and governance. Most of you, imagine, are aware of how the governance of the GAFSP is structured, but for those who are not, this is going to be an occasion to understand a little bit the overall functioning of the program. And after that, we will delve into the 8 COFO proposal details. This will cover almost half of our session, and then we will leave a good 45 minutes for question and answer. Again, you are welcome to post your question on the chat or also to take the floor. So I will start with leaving the floor to Natasha. Natasha, over to you.
Great. Thank you so much, Ceci, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, probably, to some of you. And first of all, really a warm welcome and also a great thanks for your interest in GAFSP, the Global Agriculture and Food Security Programme, and particularly in the 8th call for proposals for producer organizations. So it's really, my pleasure to see the interest in terms of the attendance here. This is actually our 3rd call for proposals now that targets producer organizations as partners. As some of you may know, our producer organization-led track is the grant financing that GAFSP offers, which targets partnering with producer organizations, farmers associations, cooperatives, and so on, and really tries to place these organizations and associations in the lead as partners to our project. Also, of course, working closely with our technical supervising entities. So over the past few years, we've had the great privilege to allocate about $80 million in these small grants to about 30 projects in the portfolio. And as a result, we've had an opportunity to learn with all our partners along the way. I hear that there's an echo. I apologize, I'm not sure why that would be. I would ask everybody to please mute their microphones. Okay, so I hope that's clearer now, and thank you everybody for muting while you're not contributing. Yeah, I was just reflecting that we've now had a few years experience with about 30 projects in the portfolio. And it's been a really positive journey, I think, for the program. If you are interested, on our website, we reflect some information about the existing projects. You can get a sense of the range of designs and countries which are covered. And there are also some documents which capture the lessons learned so far. So I would encourage you, if you have a moment, to take a look at the website to find out more. But today's session is really to give you more information specifically on the 8th call. We want to be able to guide you in what the program is looking for, in the process steps, and make sure that you have the information that you need to work together with your partners and submit proposals from eligible partners and countries. So let me just say, again, we're very excited. We're very pleased to be able to offer another call for proposals for the PO-led track. We really value the way of working that targets and works with producers, their membership organizations, and really tries to generate great results and lessons on the ground in terms of, sustainable agricultural production, institution building, food security, nutrition, resilience, all the things that we know are priorities on the ground for our smallholder farmer partners. So let me thank you again for your time. Welcome you to this session. Encourage you to ask your questions. Ceci mentioned we will have a dedicated period of time for that engagement and for any clarifications which are needed. But in the meantime, let me pass it back to Cecilia. I look forward to the presentations which will follow, and we really look forward to supporting you in your interest, and we hope some successful applications. So thank you very much.
Many thanks, Natasha. So without further ado, I will delve into the presentation. So as said, first of all, a little bit of an overview of the Global Agriculture and Food Security Program. How does it function? Who governs it? So the GAFSP was launched over 15 years ago, and with the objective to fight hunger, malnutrition, and poverty through agricultural investment. It is multilateral funds that gather donor contributions and use this contribution to support projects in sustainable agriculture, resilience, and food system. The projects are dedicated to the most vulnerable countries of the world based on the per capita income. And the projects are implemented in partnership with the leading development institution, which includes the MDBs and the UN agencies that you see on the right wing of the screen. So we have the Asian Development Bank, African Development Bank, Inter-American Development Bank, FAO, IFAD, and WFP. So these are our main partners when it comes to the public sector interventions, while IFC is the institution that lead the private sector intervention of GAFSP. The ultimate objective of the program is to enhance smallholder livelihood, income, and food security and nutrition. The GAFSP has three main bodies that you should be aware of. The first and most important one is the steering committee, which is the decision-making body of the GAFSP. It is a multi-stakeholder platform, and it is an inclusive platform. It includes donor partners, the partners that I just mentioned, the civil society organization that for the past years have been AFA, Europa, and ActionAid, and the supervising entities. And decisions are made by consensus. The steering committee is the body that decides the direction of the GAFSP. Then we have the coordination unit, where I'm part of the coordination unit together with a group of almost 15 colleagues. We liaise with the steering committee, and we support anything related to administration of the program. And we also support the work of the Technical Advisory Committee. The Technical Advisory Committee, it's another key body of the GAFSP. It is an independent body, and it's appointed by the steering committee, and it is the body that assesses the proposals that we receive through call for proposals. So the Technical Advisory Committee, it's the body that will rank the proposal that will be received through this call for proposal. The name of the Technical Advisory Committee are secret until the results of the call for proposal are disclosed. The GAFSP function through a two-window structure. We today focus only on the producer organization track, but just to give you an overview, we have under the GAFSP public and private investment. The public investments arm are hosted in the World Bank and governed by this steering committee, as I said, and through the public sector arm of the GAFSP, we fund country grants working with governments, producer organization grants, which are the subjects of today's meeting, and we also provide blended concessional finance deployed through a platform-based approach through a new financing track that is called BIFT that we launched last year in September. The private sector arm of the GAFSP is managed by the IFC, the International Finance Corporation, and offer transaction-based blended concessional finance and advisory service. Through these mechanism, we were able to deliver 2.5 billion through the entire portfolio, through 319 projects across 55 countries. 70% of these investment have been delivered through the public sector window, which channeled $1.9 billion in 49 countries across 128 projects. And 32 of these 128 projects are producer organization-led projects. While the private investments amount 650 million across 89 private investment project and 53 million for over 100 advisory project dedicated to agribusiness. These overall benefited 21 million smallholder farmers and their families. Here we zoom in the PO-led portfolio. As I said, we allocated since 2016, when we had the first call for proposal for producer organization, we allocated 32 projects, 23 of which are currently active, and this project amount for an amount of 81 million. On the left side, you can see a distribution of this project across our supervising entity. As you can see, our UN partners, FAO, IFAD, and WFP, are those that partner the most with producer organization across our portfolio, but also the MDBs have a fair share of projects. For the moment, these projects are implemented across 21 countries. And as you can see, Africa, Sub-Saharan Africa cover the majority of the portfolio, while South Asia comes second, Latin America and Caribbean with 8% of the portfolio, and then Asia and Pacific with 6% of our portfolio. Here you also have a list of the producer organizations that are currently involved in our portfolio. So I will jump into the 8th call for proposal because I think it's the most important part of this presentation. If you have any question about this initial presentation regarding the GAFSP functioning, please feel free to, for the moment, write your question in the chat, and then we can go back to it during the Q&A session. Sorry, for the moment, please keep muted, and then during the Q&A session, you can also take the floor and make your questions. Thank you. So the producer organization led grants have the objective to provide fundings to producer organization to strengthen their capacity and sustainability and allow the members of the producer organization to provide better services, to get better services through their POs. And the ultimate objective is to effectively deliver the GAFSP program objective at a country and at a regional level. So capacity building, it's really at the core of this financing track. There are two guiding principles of the PO-led track. The first is ownership. Producer organizations are partners of these initiatives and not beneficiaries. They design, they lead the project based on their community needs and priority. And the second key element and principle of this financing track is subsidiarity. The idea here is that decision and action should be taken as close as possible to community and needs of the community. So who is eligible for this call for proposal? So as for past call for proposal, if you have participated or you're already familiar with the past call for proposal, the definition of national and subnational producer organization is not very different from past years. We are opening the call for proposals to producer association, union, federation, cooperative, apex organizations that respect a few eligibility criteria. First of all, they must be registered legal entities in one of the eligible country of the GAFSP, and I will show you which are these countries. The producer organization must operate in one of these countries. The members are individuals or group of farmers, which can include pastoralists, fisheries, forest dwellers, food processor, landless people, or indigenous people. It is very important that it is a member or owned organization, and with this we intend that members have a say in the decision-making process of the organization rather than stakeholders that are external or financial contributors. The organization must carry out activities to support smallholders producer in different fields, which might include agriculture, storage, processing, marketing, and other activities related to agriculture and food security and nutrition. Finally, for this call for proposal, producer organizations that are already implementing a PO-led project are not eligible. The novelty of this call for proposal is that for the first time, we are opening the call for proposal to regional producer organization. And by regional producer organization, we mean organizations that includes more than one national producer organization that must respect the criteria that I just listed. So the producer organization must be registered in a GAFSP league, in GAFSP eligible countries. And we enlarged a bit the list of countries for regional organization to include also IDA blend country. And again, I will go back to this later to give you clarity on what countries are eligible. The regional organization must operate in 2 or more of the GAFSP eligible countries. Just to clarify, while the regional organization can be registered in an IDA blend country, the activities must be deployed in the restricted list of GAFSP eligible countries. Again, I will come back to this to clarify. Anyway, member of this organization must have must have the same criteria for national and subnational producer organization, and they must have a focus on supporting members via capacity building and institutional development. For regional producer organization that are already receiving funding from GAFSP can be involved in the project. I also want to clarify that ad hoc consortium of regional organization can apply, but it cannot be an ad hoc consortium created. Ad hoc consortium cannot apply, but consortium that are already existing can apply for this call for proposal. So here you have a list of countries, of eligible countries. So in black, you see the eligible countries of the GAFSP, the usual list of eligible countries of the GAFSP. We use the International Development Association list of the poorest and most vulnerable countries based on per capita income. It is a list of 58 countries, which you can see in this screen. In addition to these, in red, you can see the list of IDA blend countries. These countries are middle-income countries and usually not eligible for GAFSP funding, but for the purpose of this scope of proposal, a regional organization can be registered in one of the countries you see in red, but the activities of the project must be then implemented in one of the IDA-only countries, which are those listed in black. I hope this is clear, but then during the Q&A session, we can go back to this if you need clarification. Regarding the activities, so what are the activities that are that can be financed through this call for proposal? We are looking for financially and technically sound proposals in line with the overall GAFSP objective, and these activities must be implemented in GAFSP eligible countries. The activities that the proposal will can include must focus on GAFSP focus area, which include agricultural productivity, improve farmers to market links, decrease the risk and vulnerability, and enhance the rural livelihood and entrepreneurship and stronger rural institution. The activities also need to support investment in GAFSP cross-cutting areas. The GAFSP cross-cutting themes are three and includes improved climate resilience, empower women and girls, and improve nutrition. While the nutrition aspect is optional, in the sense that you might or not have a strong focus on nutrition, climate resilience and women and girls empowerment are mandatory themes that should be covered by your proposals. Another key aspect of this proposal must be capacity building. Then proposals must scale up at least an activity that has been already tested by the producer organization or the supervising entity, and must include an innovative feature. And by innovative feature, we intend institutional advancement, technical advancement, new way of organization and doing business, anything that goes beyond business as usual and that can support, delivers positive food security and nutrition impact. For this call for proposal, civil work and assets is allowed. We in GAFSP PO-led track usually do not finance big infrastructure, but you can include, of course, civil works and assets like irrigation, storage, facilities, and so on. But of course, this must be well justified, have a clear rationale, and in particular, a clear exit strategies. Advocacy activities are welcome in this call for proposal, but they must be aligned with the project objective and the GAFSP mandate. For what concern the activities promoted by regional proposals, again, these activities must benefit GAFSP eligible countries, so the black list of countries in the previous slide. They must demonstrate a clear regional scope and added value. So they must show how these activities could not be achieved by an individual PO at a national level, must tackle some cross-border shared challenges across the region and or promote a cross-border collaboration. So in brief, must show the added value of a regional intervention. Again, subsidiarity principle is key to this financing track, and this means that we will favor regional proposals that allocate funds to their national members through subgrants. Again, as per national proposals, the proposal must show scale up of successful existing activity and introduce an innovation. And as per national projects, civil works and assets are allowed, supported by a strong rationale, and advocacy activities are allowed, but provided that these advocacy activities are linked to the PTO of the project, to the development objective of the project, and to the broader objective of the GAFSP. Again, as I said, subsidiarity principle is key. So priority will be given to regional producer organization that channel funds to national and local members via sub-grants. These sub-grants can fund activity like technical assistance, capacity building, infrastructure, equipment, and inputs provision. And the objective must be related to implementing specific activities supported by the regional projects, address local needs, strengthen local ownership and subsidiarities, build capacities. We always rely on our supervising entities' rule and regulation for the implementation of the project. So supervising entity, again, are the UN agencies or the multilateral banks that you will select as partners. And when if you will propose a producer organization regional project with sub-grants, we will request you on integrated reporting. So one consolidated reporting, not several reporting for each of the sub-grants that the proposal will foresee. So as I said, the producer organization are at the center of this financing track and are meant to lead, design, and implement the proposal. So what are the role of DPO? Again, the producer organization select the partner supervising entities at their choice. So the DPO needs to reach out to the supervising entity available and based on its preferred one, propose to collaborate. The producer organization has the duty of preparing the expression of interest and the proposal, the final proposal. And the supervising entity will provide quality checks and guidance during the submission. If the proposal is selected, the producer organization develop the final project design in partnership with the supervising entity, and the producer organization then implement the project again in partnership with the supervising entity. So I highlighted it in red because it's very important that producer organization needs to reach out to supervising entity as soon as possible to request their availability to work as partner in a project. How can you get in touch with the supervising entity? Here you have the list of the supervising entities and the focal point that can then put you in touch with the right person, either in the country office or in the region. I'm happy then to share this PowerPoint presentation, but this information are also available in GAFSP website and in the guidelines. What is the role of the supervising entity? The supervising entity review the producer organization request to collaborate and decide with who to collaborate. So while the producer organization reach out to the supervising entity to work as partner, then the supervising entity have the right to decide with what producer organization to work with. We of course expect a lot of interest. So each supervising entity can submit only one expression of interest, only 10 expression of interest in total. Not all the producer organization requests, unfortunately, will be covered or can be covered. As I said, the supervising entity provide support and quality assurance throughout the whole process, from design of the proposal, then design to final project and implementation. During the final proposal writing, the supervising entity is also expected to do a capacity assessment of the producer organization. This is not meant to exclude the producer organization, rather to highlight what are the gaps, institutional gaps in particular, capacity gaps of the producer organization around which the proposal should be built. Then the supervising entity is in charge of submitting the expression of interest and the final proposal on behalf of the producer organization. And then when the proposal is approved, it's the supervising entity that channels the funds and support the implementation of the project. So it is important to be aware that different supervising entities have different way of implementing projects. We have what we call the GAFSP Technical Assistance Supervising Entity, which are FAO and WFP, who also directly implement some technical assistance activities of the project. This means that part of the project budget will be dedicated to FAO and WFP services. And then in GAFSP, we also have investment supervising entity, which include IFAD and the World Bank, the Asian, African, and Inter-American Development Bank. And by practice, those institutions channel full grants to producer organization, who then lead the implementation. Anyway, details on the budget must be agreed by the supervising entity and the producer organization case by case. So here you see the amount of funding available. We have $38 million available for this call for proposal, and the final allocation amount will be decided by the technical strength of the producer of the proposal submitted. So only strong proposal will be financed. As I said, we this time around welcome both national proposal and regional proposal. For what concerns the national proposal, the maximum budget allowed is 2.5 million. Again, for regional proposal that do not provide sub-grants to members national producer organization, the limit is again 2.5 million. We have raised the ceiling to 4 million for regional producer organization-led project that provides sub-grants to member national PO. Again, we might, in exceptional case, provide higher budgets in case applicants show the need of this higher budget, and in particular, there is an extensive track record in managing large external funds. As I said, we will form a technical advisory committee that will rank your proposal. And in the guidelines, you will see how this proposal will be ranked. As you can see, there are two main categories. One is the producer organization capacity, and the second is the technical strength. So first of all, 30% of the proposal will be evaluated looking at the capacity of the producer organization. While we know that producer organization might be stronger and weaker, and we are welcoming everybody to participate. Of course, a certain level of capacity is needed to manage such a large grant. So we will look forward good governance, capacity on the fiduciary level and M&E level, and then operation and finance capacity. These elements will be assessed both via the information you will share through the expression of interest, so part 1 documents, and then the capacity assessment that will be done in part 2. The second and more heavy element of the evaluation will be the technical strength. So we will look at technical quality of the proposal, the design feasibility, and the alignment to the GAFSP, not only the goals and other initiatives and a strong focus on FCB areas, but also any proposals that has a link with GAFSP projects or supervising entity projects will be favored in a way, and this will be assessed through the full proposal. For the regional proposals, the criteria are more or less the same, but we In this case, technical strains will be heavier than PO capacity, so 20% to PO capacity and 80% to the technical strength of the proposal. Again, we look forward producer organization that have a minimum level of governance, fiduciary and M&E capacity, and operational finance capacity, again assessed via the expression of interest and full proposal. And for the technical strain part, we will again look at the technical quality, design feasibility, and alignment with the GAFSP core areas. And again, any link with existing GAFSP or supervising entity project will be favored. And we will also look at the subsidiarity element, as I said. Any regional proposal that provides sub-grants to national member producer organization will be considered, we will be given a plus. As per past call for proposals, we have decided to follow a two-stage approach for this call for proposal. So the first important date you have to note down, it's June 26th, where you are requested to submit part one of the call for proposal, so the expression of interest. It's relatively short, and when you will have submitted it, myself and my colleagues in coordination unit, we review the expression of interest template and documents for eligibility and completeness. There is not going to be a technical evaluation at this stage, but we will definitely look at the eligibility of the producer organization. The eligible producer organization will then be able to move forward to part two. The part two, again, it's what we call full proposal. It implies a template that it's available in our website and a number of supporting documents. Again, the full proposal will be reviewed by the coordination unit for completeness, and then at this stage we will provide the package of the proposal to the technical advisory committee that will then evaluate the strength of the proposal and provide recommendation to the steering committee, who is the body that makes the final decision, the final allocation. Again, I already said it, but I want to stress it again. Up to 10 proposals per supervising entities can be submitted, up to 10 expression of interest, and 1 proposal per producer organization. So APO needs to select 1 supervising entity and work with that 1 supervising entity in developing the expression of interest. So, as I said, June 26th is the first important date you have to meet. And in this day, you have the supervising entity on your behalf will have to submit the template of the expression of interest available on our website and the supporting documents. The supporting documents includes official proof of registration of the producer organization, any governing document of the producer organization, the most recent annual report, financial statement for the past 3 operating years, and 2 most recent audit reports, and other official documents that might be useful to describe the membership structure of the producer organization. If you're lucky enough to move to the second stage, then the other important dates to be noted down, it's November 11. And by this date, the supervising entity the producer organization has selected to work with will have the duty to submit on behalf of the PO this document, the full proposal template. Again, it's available on our website. The statement of readiness from the supervising entity. So there is a format of the letter. It's available in Annex 6 of the template of the proposal. And this must be signed by the supervising entity country office and the GAFSP steering committee representative of the supervising entity. Then, if the proposal includes any co-financing, it must include a letter of commitment of the co-financer. The producer organization capacity assessment result This result is undertaken by the supervising entity and should be included in the package. And finally, any document related to the activity to be scaled up through the proposals. The expression of interest on June 26th must, as well as the full proposal in November 11, must be submitted by the supervising entity on behalf of the producer organization at this link, info@gafspfund.org. In Word, Excel, or a PDF only. The language the languages allowed are English and French only, and the supporting document can be in another language, but they must include a translation either in English or in French. There is no deadline extension allowed, and I really request you to submit all the supporting document on time, because otherwise we will be obliged to exclude your submission. Of course, early submission are always welcome, and we will, from the CU side, once received your submission, we will share the confirmation of the reception. So, to summarize here, it's the timeline. The call was launched last week on May 21. The French version of the templates and guidelines is now available on the website, and I apologize if we took a few days to upload them, but they are now available in both languages. On June 26th, we expect to receive the expression of interest by the supervising entities. Again, this is just for the CU to assess PO eligibility and completeness of proposals. On June 7, we will give the result of the expression of interest. So you will know by, July 7, if your proposal can move ahead. If so, you will have several months until November to prepare the full proposal, which must be submitted by the supervising entity on behalf of the PO to the CU again. And again, in this case, we will then submit your full proposal to the Technical Advisory Committee, which will start a process of review, which will end in February. We expect to award allocation at the end of February 2026. And after that, you can start designing the final project. So here are a few key contacts. You have the general GAFSP inbox for general inquiries, and then you have the contacts of myself, Shije Yang, who's the GAFSP portfolio manager, and Yuri Tanimichi-Holberg, who's the senior consultant that he's a part of the PO call drafting team. And then you have the contact of Silvana Calixto, who's the GAFSP admin assistant. So if you have any queries, you can reach out to these addresses, possibly all of them, let's say. With this, I would stop the presentation, and I would maybe open up the floor for question. And let me see if there is already some question in the chat.
Hi, Cecilia.
Yeah.
I just wanted to, I just wanted to mention that I have been trying to answer some of the questions that have been asked in the chat, but of course, if anybody would like to follow up directly to ask again to Cecilia, please go ahead.
Yes, can I ask a question? I'm sure I didn't know if I need to raise my digital hand. I think perhaps to cluster part of the questions, I think many questions asked in the chat are about other partners joining this call. So I think we understand that the supervising entities, which are 7, they need to be the main applicant of this fund. together with the PO in question. And then the question is, can other international NGOs, organizations that provide technical support on the ground also participate in this call as implementing partner?
Thank you very much for the question. Exactly. So the supervising entity is the main partner together with the producer organization, of course. These are the co-applicants. Other NGOs and other producer organizations can be involved in project in other ways. They cannot be considered co-applicant and they cannot receive the grant, but at the same time they can be involved in the project implementation, like for example by providing technical assistance. We have several examples of NGOs, international NGOs involved in our existing project. For example, to provide technical assistance and support implementation of some activities. But the official applicant and co-applicant are the supervising entity and the producer organization who's leading the proposals. I hope this.
So that would mean, sorry to round off this question, I understand. It would mean that the supervising entity and the PO would need to agree to include an additional partner. And the supervising entity would then subcontract another partner to implement activities on the ground by using part of the grant. Is that correct?
Yes, the implementer of the project will be in any case the producer organization and the supervising entity. But yeah, we do have example of other partners that are providing assistance to implement some activities. Or and this can be NGOs, but also business, for example, and private sector. Would you like to add something to clarify this?
Hello, can I ask a question? Hello?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Thank you. Most of the questions are answered onto the chat box, but I just do have one question. Like from the 7th call, it seemed that it was required to have a letter of support from the government. Is it still the case with this call? Do we need any cover letter from the government?
So no, this time around, we have not requested the supporting letter of the government as a requirement for the GAFSP, but this depends very much from the supervising entity. In some cases, the supervising entity does request and by practice request the support of the government, but we are not requesting it as a compulsory document in this call for proposal. So maybe I see some hands. I will call you in the order.
Let me go.
Yeah, please go ahead.
The last question was part of my concern, but you made it clear. The other concern is, are we expected to submit, or are we allowed to submit more than one proposal per country based on different value chains of interest, or is just one submission per country? Over.
So supervising entities are allowed to, the only requirement we have this time is that the maximum is 10 submissions per supervising entity. We did not include the request to limit it to one per country, but of course it is sensitive that you cover as much countries as possible. But in principle, no. And producer organization can submit only one proposal.
Can I have a question? I have a question. Yeah.
Sorry. Everyone's been raising their hand. Can we be just please raise, you'll be called.
Okay, so let's go in order. I see Dada Goyen. Please come ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much, Cecilia. I have 4 questions. So the first one is, it is mentioned that the PO that already implemented or are being implementing a GAFSP project are not eligible. So my question is, in this call, will GAFSP prioritize countries where a producer organization has never benefited from the program in the past, or do all eligible countries have the same chances? The second question, or if you want to respond, and then I can
maybe
just go ahead.
Respond to this one, that it's okay. A very important one. So producer organization that have already received a grant cannot apply for the national to submit a national proposal. they can be involved in a regional proposals, of course, only if activities are not, the activities that will be financed are not already financed by an existing national PO-led project. There is no preference regarding what countries will be involved. Of course, as I said, we cover 21 countries of the 58 that are eligible with our existing portfolio. And of course, it would be good to also have a variety in that sense, but it's not going to be part of the criteria for selection.
Okay, thank you. Now the second question is that given that the total envelope is 38 millions, does it mean that the final selection at the phase 2, so for the fourth proposal, it will be made based on this budget ceiling? If so, considering that each supervising entity can submit up to 10 expression of interest, isn't there a risk of a very low final selection rate? So even if maybe realistically, not all supervising entities will submit the maximum number of EOI.
Yeah, the envelope that has been approved by the steering committee is 38 million, so this will remain such. We do expect a lot of interest, of course, but the proposal that will be financed are going to be the quality proposals, regardless from the amount of financing needed by the proposal itself, up to the 38 million. So it's true that we will probably not be able to cover all the interest that we receive, and this has been historically the case because the demand is very high, but the priority for us is to have quality proposals.
Okay, thank you. Now the third question, in the expression of interest template among the required document, we have 3 last financial statement. If I am not wrong, so generally GAFSP follow the supervising entity rules, and from our side in IFAD we require generally only 2. So are all these 3 financial statement mandatory, or we can just limit the submission to the most recent 2 if 3 are not available?
This has been approved as such by the steering committee, so we expect 3 financial statements. Yeah, it's by practice that's it's we will request the three of them. Yes, if this
okay,
yeah, we can follow up if there is some question around this, but in principle, yes, 3 financial statements.
Okay, so thank you. So to not monopolize the floor, just last question though, could you just please confirm whether GAFSP intend to allocate any funding to supervising entity to support the design of the proposal phase? Because I think it was discussed, but it's not clearly stated in this call. Thank you.
Yeah, so no, it will not be possible to provide preparation grants, but for proposal that will be approved, as you know, the supervising entities will be given a supervising entity fees that cover also this type of cost. Thank you so much, Dada. I guess these questions were useful for many other people, but I would like to move now to Lynette Soja.
So, can I ask the next question?
Hello?
Yeah, Lynette, please.
Yes. Hello?
Yeah, Lynette.
Colleagues, please mute your microphones if you're not speaking. Lynette, if you could hold for 30 seconds while we wait for others to mute. Thank you. So over to you, Lynette. And for the other colleagues, please do be as patient as you can. Cecilia will call on you one by one based on your hands raised. Thank you. Over to you, Lynette.
You're muted, Lynette.
Lynette, if you don't want to come in any longer, I will move to Mohammed. I cannot see your full surname. I'm sorry, sir.
Yeah, I am Muhammad Shahin Bhuiya. I am from Bangladesh. And my question is, if international research for development organization partner with an eligible PO. Can they be available? Can they get co-funding or sub-grant from the PO for providing any specialized or service meeting the requirements of this grant?
Yes, absolutely. Co-funding are allowed, are not compulsory, but they are allowed. The only requirement on our side is that if you have a co-financer, these need to submit a letter of commitment, and it's available in the full proposal template.
No. My question is if international organization or other organization partner with the PO, then the organization will get co-fund from this PO.
So you mean if a third party is involved in the project, if this third party that is not the supervising entity and not the producer organization can get co-funding? That's the question.
Co-funding from the producer organization. Especially if they provide any special technical support or
of course, if
implementation of the activities.
Usually, we have this type of situation when this third party provides technical assistance, for example, or provide services. Yeah, of course it can, and this must be listed in the budget of the proposals. Of course, colleagues,
thank you
Natasha or Yuri, if you want to come in and complement if there is need, please jump in. Okay, so Benito Eliasi?
Yes, no, thank you for the information. I just want to follow up on the issue of the maximum proposals per supervisory entity. Now, I was looking at the supervisory, like if that is operating globally, and it is maybe Asia, in Africa, and in Africa, Southwest and Central. So these 10 maximum, are they decentralized or centralized at IFAD? In other words, are you going to treat IFAD as IFAD in Rome, that all the projects that are submitted by IFAD from various continents should be to the maximum of 10, or is per region? I just want to get clarity on that.
Thank you, Benito. It is the headquarters, so the regional office count as IFAD, as the whole institution. We will not allow 10 expression of interest per country or per office. So you refer to the focal point, and the focal point will submit 10 expression of interest max. Thank you. I now see Branley Mugan.
So, right. So I would want to know if it is possible, for example, an NGO is applying like a prime, but is assisted by a research institute because they have a kind of lower capacity, technical aspect by a research institute. Yeah.
So NGO are not allowed to apply for this call for proposal unless you can prove that in the country where you operate, your producer organization had to be registered as an NGO for technical reasons. So in principle, NGOs are not allowed to apply for this call for proposal. If the NGO, it's actually a producer organization, and you can prove that you are registered as an NGO because of legal issue, yeah, you can then also include the technical institution in the project as your partner in the implementation.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I now see Yanak Akaria. I'm so sorry if I'm mispronouncing your names.
No, it's fine. Okay, so I just have one question here that regarding the submission of proposal, or let's say concept note. If there is some producer organization that's a national level producer organization that's have a very good impact working in, say, let's say dairy, and they just have their own financial mechanism or model. If if that kind of organization going to apply for the call, is there necessary there should be the past experience of manage some kinds of funds for the projects? Was that mandatory? May I clear you or not?
Yeah, we do not have a limit or a minimum level of size of grants that you must have managed in the past. So in principle, your organization can apply. Of course, considering that for national proposals, the 30% of the ranking will be based on the PO capacity. If an organization has never managed a grant of a similar size of the one that we are proposing, it's definitely going to be a bit harder. But if the proposal is very strong and it's very well made proposals, there is possibility, of course.
Okay,
I now
thank you.
see Yanak. No, sorry, we already done it. Anayatullah Ataye.
Understand?
Can you
Actually, my question is, can we apply as a matching fund if we have projects currently going on in alignment with the GAFSP objective?
Sorry, I could not hear you very well. So you are asking if you can apply if your producer organization currently has a project under implementation?
Yeah.
No, so
Has the project implemented apply for matching fund?
So we do not allow additional funding in the scope of proposal for existing producer organization-led project already financed by the GAFSP. So the answer is no. But your producer organization can be involved in a regional project, for example.
Okay, thank you.
Mohammed, again, I cannot see your surname, your full surname.
Yeah, I have another question. Earlier, I asked one. Second question is that the supervising entities, for example, we have in Bangladesh the World Bank, IFAD, Asian Development Bank, FAO, World Food Program. So should we contract this office or to a particular person?
Yeah, in the presentation, I have included a table of people you can contact, which are our focal point. It's good that if you contact them directly. I will make sure that the list is also published on the website, so you can contact the focal point. Of course, you can go through the country office, but it's just easier if you go through the GAFSP focal point.
Cecilia, sorry, this is Yuria. I just wanted to mention that I'm very sorry, but I don't understand French. So I have not been responding to any questions in the chat box that are in French. So for those of you who asked questions in French that have not yet been answered, please feel free to ask them directly to Cecilia in French. Is okay, right?
Thanks a lot, Yuria. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I will continue in order. So maybe if you can, it can be a bit quicker because we just have 25 minutes. So Yanak Acharya.
No, I have already asked the questions. Maybe.
Sorry, so I see your hand still. You have a legacy hand. Okay. Again, Sopip Pan.
Thank you. I'm calling from Cambodia. Just want to have a short question about the partnership, though, or the partners. That can PO have partner with the government in case of extension service or something? Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Of course, we welcome projects that include public and private partnerships. So the answer is yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Compulsory, but it's welcome. Biai Monger.
Hi. Yeah. I have two questions. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm Vijay Mongar from Bhutan. So I have two questions here. One is, if I understood correctly, so there will be a maximum of 10 POs per country. That's one question. And the other one is, in the first step, expression of interest. So is it very, very necessary to meet all the criteria? For example, the auditing of the PO. So is it very necessary to fulfill all the criteria to be eligible for the submission of EOI? Thank you.
Thank you. So it is not 10 producer organization per countries, but 10 producer organization per supervising entity. So by practice, the GAFSP submitted proposal by the supervising entity on behalf of the PO. So each supervising entities, and again, we have 7 supervising entities, can submit up to 7 expression of interest. This is the only limit we have. No limit on the country and no limit on the PO per country. But each producer organization can submit only one proposal. And regarding the audit, yes, all the necessary document, the background document and the supporting document you see in the expression of interest annex are requested. Yes. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I see then a few legacy hands, I guess, and then Kuroungo. Sorry, again, I cannot read your
Oui,
full.
merci et bonjour à tout le monde.
Bonjour.
Voilà, je voulais un peu que vous reveniez un peu par rapport à l'aspect cofinancement. Si j'ai bien compris, est-ce que les cofinancements sont dans quel cas? C'est-à-dire que est-ce que c'est obligatoire pour toutes les propositions, par exemple au niveau national ou au niveau sub-régional et régional? Je voulais un peu que vous précisiez les cas en tout cas de cofinancement où c'est obligatoire.
Merci beaucoup. Co-financing, it's not compulsory. It's of course welcome, but you do not need to have co-financing in your proposal. What's needed is, in case you have co-financing, it's to submit a letter of the co-financer, a letter of commitment. But you can submit a proposal without a co-financing. Thank you. Okay, so for the moment.
Sorry for. Merci. Est-ce que le cofinancement aussi dans le cadre de sélection, est-ce que ça augmenterait les chances de sélection? En tout cas, voilà, sinon pourquoi c'est les bienvenus? Est-ce que soit on dit ce n'est pas obligatoire, ou on mentionne est-ce que ça augmente les chances d'être sélectionné?
So as you can see in section table 3 of the COFO proposal, you will see the selection criteria for national and for regional proposals. There you see the criteria upon which your proposal will be ranked. In principle, having a co-financer doesn't make your proposal better, but yeah, if for example your project includes linkages with the private sector, it is something that is positively seen because it's in alignment with the GAFSP priorities. But no, in principle, not having a co-financer is not gonna hinder your possibility to get an award nor improve. What's gonna make it more likable for your proposal to get awards? It's the strength of your proposal and it's the capacity of your producer organization. So I see another set of hands raised.
Cecilia, sorry, I think Aliou.
Okay. Merci beaucoup, c'est assez clair maintenant.
Merci beaucoup.
You had a question, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Aliou?
Yeah,
Yes.
it was a bit related to the question he asked, like for the co-financing, like the ceiling of the project is 2.5 million, but if we have a co-financing, could we surpass that? Like propose a project with 3.5 million, but the 1 million will become from co-financing.
Absolutely, yeah. Co-financing will not be accounted in the awards that we will provide. So if you have 1 million co-financing, you can have a 3.5 million budget.
Thank you.
Thank you. Roland Guerrier. We cannot hear you if you're talking. Okay, we cannot hear you, Roland.
Oui, bonjour. Oui, oui, bonjour. Désolé, ma question sera posée en français. Et c'est pour savoir pour les coopératives agricoles. Parce que dans mon pays, une coopérative est considérée comme une entreprise sociale. Est-ce que vous acceptez la candidature d'une coopérative?
Yeah, absolutely. Cooperatives are eligible for this call for proposal. Thank you. Blamha.
Ok, merci.
Blama.
Oui, oui, bonjour. Je poserai en français. Vous avez abordé dans la présentation, vous dites que vous allez revenir sur les pays éligibles, ceux qui sont en rouge. Alors, est-ce que vous pouvez revenir sur ça? La deuxième question, c'est, vous avez abordé les priorités, mais est-ce qu'il y a la nature des activités qui ne sont pas éligibles dans ce fonds? Est-ce que vous avez des activités qui ne sont pas éligibles au niveau de ce fonds? Et un point, qu'est-ce que vous mettez comme activité de plaidoyer en lien avec le mandat du GAFSP? Et la toute dernière question, c'est quoi un consortium ad hoc selon le fonds? Merci.
Okay, so regarding the question on eligibility, I put forward again the slide. Let me put it in presentation mode. Okay, again, the list of countries you see in red are the IDA-only countries. So the poorest and most vulnerable countries based on per capita income. And those are the countries where the GAFSP usually implement its projects.
I'm sorry, Cecilia, that's the color in black. The countries in black.
Sorry, I was sure I said in black. So in black, this is the IDA only countries. Thank you, Yuria, if I said something different. And this is usually where the GAFSP work. So every producer organization that is based and operating in these countries is welcome to apply. In red, you see a more restricted list of countries. And these countries are those where a regional organization can be based. A regional organization for regional proposal can be based. But if a regional organization is based in one of these countries in red, can submit a proposals. But then the proposal must benefit the black countries. So the countries where the proposals is then implemented, if sub-grants are foreseen, for example, must be one of the list of countries in black. Is it clear now? I hope so. So if I don't hear otherwise, I will continue with the second question. I understand that you were asking regarding the priorities, activities of these call for proposals. Again, as I said, there are a number of criteria to make that make an activity eligible. The GAFSP, the activities must cover one of the GAFSP focus area. This focus area include agricultural productivities, improve farm to market link, decrease risk and vulnerabilities, and improve rural livelihood, entrepreneurship, and stronger rural institution. This can translate in many different ways, but this is the general framework. Then your proposal need to cover the cross-cutting outcome of the GAFSP, which are climate, gender, and nutrition. Nutrition can be a focus of your project or not, but climate and gender need to be included and covered by your proposals. The proposal must also build capacity of producer organization, and scale up an existing activities that is proved successful, and include an innovative feature. Then I understand you asked about advocacy. So advocacy can be part of your proposals, but it must be clearly linked to the objective of the project and must be linked to the GAFSP mandate. So you cannot do advocacy for a topic that is not related to food security and nutrition and agriculture. I hope it's clearer now. In any case, we will gather all the questions you put forward today. We will answer them and publish them in the website. So I'm sorry, because I'm realizing now that the presentation, the PowerPoint, it's in English only. So I understand that for non-English speakers, this might have been a bit tricky. So we will also translate the PowerPoint and upload it on the website. Apologies about that. Okay, so I move on to Martin Kausil.
Yeah, hello, hi everyone, and thanks for taking my question. I tried to ask the question in the chat, but I haven't got a clear answer. There are 7 SEs that we can approach, but which one? If we're based in Tanzania, is there one person that deals with proposals from Tanzania, or do we write to all 7 of the SEs to ask which of them is willing to partner with us?
Thank you so much. So I'm going to show you again the list of the focal point for supervising entity. So if you're based in Tanzania, you can write to each of these supervising entities. Of course, what I advise you to do is to see what projects we have in Tanzania. What project have we financed in Tanzania, and see the partners that have been working in GAFSP project. So, for example, we have a PIO-led project in Tanzania currently implemented in partnership with the African Development Bank. This does not limit your possibility to reach out to any other supervising entity, but of course, if you want to start with the supervising entity that are already present and implementing project in the country, of course, that might be easier, but this is at your discretion. So you can write to each of them, in fact. Also, if your producer organization have worked in the past with one of the supervising entity, this is going to be a plus because it shows that you have experience working with this supervising entity. So an advice is to focus on those supervising entities that you have worked with in the past, if you have any, or those that are already active in the country working in GAFSP, but you can write to any of them in any way. Thank you. I hope it clarifies. Now, Benoit.
Thank you, Cecilia. Thank you very much. That was a very useful session. So my name is Benoit Veyrat. I'm the focal person for FAO, part of the list that Cecilia was showing. I have one question and one plea to the people around. The question is to you, Cecilia. You know, there were a couple of questions from participants about the required documentations, right? The 3 financial statements, the audit report, and whether it was compulsory or not. And the response was always, yes, it's compulsory. But at the same time, there is a kind of provision in the expression of interest. There is this question 3.2 saying if you cannot provide this kind of documentation, provide some explanation. So the question is whether it's really compulsory and whether if a PO is missing some of these documentations, is just not eligible, or you would consider still the proposal if some of this documentation is missing. Because I understand from questions from people that it might be difficult for some of the POs to produce all this documentation. Right?
So I will try to answer based on my point of view, but then I would like to anyway publish an answer officially on the website that I will then agree with my colleagues. So in principle, yes, those are compulsory. If you do not have any audit report, you will not be eligible. If you do not have 2 audit reports and you have a strong justification for that, we might accept the application. But I really need to discuss with colleagues about it, in particular regarding the audit reports and the financial reports. So in principle, what we are looking for is to have to audit and treat financing report. So if you have none, definitely the application is not going to be eligible. If there is strong justification, which you don't have 3 in a row, we might discuss it internally. So I will get back with an official answer on this.
Can I just follow up on a plea, not a question, but a plea to all the colleagues and response to Martin also. You know, the choice of supervising entities. I think it's really the choice of the PO to contact one of the 7 supervising entities, depending on your knowledge of this supervising entity. The plea is that any people interested or PO interested to reach out to one of the supervising entities. It's not a plea of FAO, it's a plea of the supervising entities, is to reach out to us as soon as possible, because this is the best way that we can collaborate together, not to wait until the day before the deadline to reach out to the supervising entity. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and Benoit, this is an important point. We have less than a month now to submit expression of interest, so please do reach out to the supervising entity as soon as possible. So I see another hand from Sopa Pan. I don't know if it is a legacy hand.
Thank you. Yes, I want to clarify one of the point that you mentioned in the criteria, like about the advocacy, because sometimes when we mention the term advocacy, is some country is sensitive with about the sensitive, but mostly we can say engagement, constructive engagement, or advocacy, because all the works that we aim or we are working on, mostly we aim to advocate. By the end, we advocate for any change of any policy that to support our works in the next step or in the future. For example, like in the school feeding program or social protection that we used to do in the past, we aim to how the government will take step or take action after the project phase out. This is that we aim to advocate for any program of the government to continue, because the project normally phase out, finish, and then no sustainability. So I mean that I want to clarify that any strategy that we use or in our works to aim to to insert any advocacy about that. Is it okay that? Thank you.
I just want to clarify that advocacy is not compulsory. Like, you can have a project that do not include advocacy. So if it was not clear, I apologize, but you can submit a proposals that do not include advocacy. Then you can call it advocacy, capacity building, or any way you prefer, or government engagement. We will be open about it. What we are trying to say here is that we will not, for example, if your regional organization foreseen advocacy in international fora, we would welcome it as long as these advocacy activities are linked to the producer, the development objective of the project, and not any sort of advocacy or international fora. I hope this clarified, but if not, please submit your question in writing and we will note it down and try to answer more clearly
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So I see again Kurungo, hands up.
Kurungo Dambele.
Yeah.
Oui, c'est ça exactement. Et merci encore, Cécilia. Je reviens encore avec une petite précision sur un des critères, si possible. Vous avez dit les OP qui exécutent actuellement des projets GAP pilotés par des OP et financés dans le cadre d'appels à propositions antérieures ne sont pas admissibles à présenter une demande, que ce soit pour augmenter le budget du projet existant financé par les GAPS ou pour exécuter un nouveau projet. Je veux dire, est-ce que, alors, une OP qui a, par le passé, a bénéficié alors d'un financement GAFSP, mais il n'a pas actuellement un projet en cours. Est-ce qu'il est éligible? Puisqu'un peu à la fin, ça prêtait un peu confusion. Il n'a pas de projet actuellement en cours de GAP. Est-ce qu'il est éligible à cet appel? Merci.
No, the answer is no. You cannot apply even if the project is closed. This is because we're really trying to allow space for producer organizations that have not or have historically had more challenges in getting funding to really have an opportunity. So it is unfortunate, I know, for some of you, and I know that some of you have great ideas to implement, but unfortunately this time around, given the limited amount of funding we have to give possibility to new producer organization. But again, if your producer organization is part of an umbrella organization at the regional level and this regional organization will apply, you can be part of you can benefit from the proposals. Thank you so much. I do not see other hands at the moment. Anybody else who wants to come in?
Yes,
Okay.
again, I am just one simple clarification. So PU will be the lead organization who will contract with SC.
Yeah. Yeah, the producer organization needs to reach out to the supervising entity. It's not the opposite around.
Yeah, and not the partners of the PU. Only the PU will approach
The
to
producer
SC.
organization, the core element of this financing track is that the producer organization are the partners, are the leader of this project and implementer of this project. We do not want we really want to have a different approach that is bottom up and not considering the PO just mere beneficiaries, but really give them the space to be leading and to implement their own ideas and based on the need of their community. So yes, it's the producer organization that needs to reach out to the supervising entity.
In implementation part, they can choose their partner who they think appropriate.
This is going to be part of the design of the proposal. So the producer organization, as long as this is listed in the and specified in the proposals, you can include partners. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, so I would like to give space to my colleagues. So in particular, I also want to thank you very much, Shiji Yang.
I just raise one question, just very simple. Okay. Yes. We actually submitted the first proposal in the 7th call, but it didn't get through, and it was all because, like you mentioned, it's exactly because for especially for underdeveloped countries like LDC and all, like producer group formation are not that strong, and which means like they really don't have a strong governance structure, and auditing systems are not very strong. And if auditing being done is like kind of an internal auditing, which means like group alone, their committee has done the auditing. So the feedback we got was like the governance structure and the like engagement of government officials in the board were some of the limitations. But we couldn't get through. Now this time, like we have a very unique case for Bhutan. Hazelnut producers actually is a household-based producer, and they are actually working with the FTA company. So we are not sure like that FTA company can access this fund, which could support the actually upscaling the hazelnut production in the country. It's very, very strong producers kind of a thing, but they are actually working as an individual or as a community local group. But these groups are not being kind of a registered group, but they are going to get registered. But they had been working with the hazelnut company. They are all feeding to the hazelnut company. So it was like basically supported by the hazelnut company, and they are trying to access the certification like Rainforest Alliance, and there is a demand kind of a requirement like they need to be formed with a group. Only they will be eligible. Now they are forming a group,
Sorry,
community-wise group.
could you please come to the question, just to give space to anybody else in case there is
Yes,
other
yes.
question.
Yeah, it's they can actually FTA company that engages the producers can they be eligible for accessing this fund?
No, only the producer organization can submit the proposals. A private company can be a partner in the proposals. As for NGO, if the producer organization in a country need to be registered as a private company or as an NGO, they can apply, but only if in the country for some legal reason a producer organization or cooperative are not recognized as a legal institution. But if they are, in principle, legal company and NGO cannot apply. And I note your point on fragile countries, and I understand that there might not be such a high capacity building. We do not want to exclude weaker producer organization, and that's why only 30% of the ranking is going to be based on the capacity of the producer organization, while what's going to be very important is the strength of the proposals. Okay, so anybody else? Otherwise, I think we already we passed the hour and a half. I just wanted to recognize also the great work of Xi Zhejiang, who's our portfolio manager. She's not here today because she's on a mission, but this is also thanks to the great work of Shige and of course my colleague Judith and Olberg and other colleagues in the coordination unit, as well as the great work of our steering committee members who have inputted. This is really a collective work, and thanks to all our partners and of course to our donors that allow with their pledges to for us to put forward call for proposals. So thank you so much. Again, we will share all the information on the website. Please, for the moment, refer to the website where you can already find the guidelines, the templates, and all these documents are also available in French. Again, you have our contact, so reach out if you have a specific question. We will create a frequently asked question section in the